The first time I got high was at 10 years old, and it was marijuana. And I remember actually being at a pizzeria and smoking a joint and being so wasted that I actually had to lay on the table in the pizzeria because I was so out of myself. I started going to the dentist, and this was when I was in middle school and high school. And I remember getting prescription medication, and that started with the Vicodin and the Percocets. And that started my addiction to opiates, which became my drug of choice, heroin. It was great at that age, but I had no idea where it was gonna lead. And it was the gateway drug for me. And it was the beginning of what was gonna become a very dark road. And eventually I got sentenced to prison. And I spent a year in Passaic County Jail, a year in Bergen County Jail, to go down to Clinton State Prison. I stayed there 1 year before I saw the parole board. I remember saying to myself, I am never gonna use again. Like, this is it. This is my bottom. And it wasn't. Rock bottom for me was me in my apartment, and I lived in Garfield, and I had my little girl. She was almost a year old, and I was so sick, and I had to take her with me to go to buy drugs. The Bergen County Sheriff's Department came to my house and came through my doors. My last vision of my little girl was me getting taken out in an ambulance on a stretcher, and all I could see is her little hair flying all over the place, and her in the front seat with her father in the cop car, and she was scratching her dad's face, screaming for me. And that was my bottom. For me, that day was the worst day that led me to the best day of my life, because from that day forward, recovery set in. I got arrested. I woke up in jail. My daughter was taken. I lost my apartment. They repossessed my car. And I went to jail, and I detoxed for 2 straight months on no bail. This was my 3rd child removed. I was never willing to do the work that I needed to do to get the help that I needed to get. And in that desperation, I became willing. I never hit the street. I went straight from jail to Turning Point, straight into Springhouse. And Springhouse was my saving grace. First, I had to get with my past. I had to get caught up to the day, and then I had to learn coping skills and tools to deal with life on life's terms, and then learn new productive, positive things to do for my life so that I can be helping instead of harming. I was able to rebuild my credit in recovery. I was able to get my own apartment, and I was able to go back to school and get a degree. And I'm very proud of that degree. And the degree I have does not discriminate against my past. The insight and the gifts that I've gone through that dark path helped me bring the light into others today. And that is the best gift ever. And that is why my life is so full. So to the women who are out partying in the club and using, be careful, because my life started with use, led to abuse, and ended up dependence and addicted and in a very dark place. And the willingness to get help was what saved my life.
If you need help, call the Addictions Access Center at 1-844-276-2777.